Hello and welcome to Mindful Minecraft. I'm Andrew and this is All the Mods 9. Last episode, we jam-packed a ton of information in, and although I felt good about it after careful review, I noticed that I messed up a couple of times and I left some things out. So today, I've got a few things I'd like to get out of the way really quick. We need to go over the crafting of our autocrafters, and we need to go over the network transmitters and receivers that I said we'd go over last video. I also wanted to collect a ton of wood. Now, before we do that, I want to say thank you so much for your support and the growing community that is forming here. I like to say that as this video goes live, there is now a Discord where everyone can join and we can actually help each other out in a different way. I also want to truly up the quality of these videos, and that might mean that I post less, but they're going to be much higher quality, much longer, and hopefully providing a little more value to you guys. And as I do that, I want to help build my own confidence in developing my presentation style and my voice, so thank you all for being patient and giving constant support. I will say, please do not hold back any criticism or feedback, as it helps build this content into the best it can be. As for the other plan for today, we're going to go over mystical agriculture and logistics involved, from setting up the farm to transporting the materials and auto-crafting some resources involved. But before we do that, we need to make a few special items, and that requires us to alter our hostile neural network setup. After we do that, I think we should fight the Wither and get our first Nether Star. The bulk of the material today is going to be presented in the mystical agriculture section, and I'm going to make detailed material lists again because that seemed to be popular among the viewers. So grab a snack, grab a beverage, kick back and relax while we dive into episode 5 of our All the Mods 9 playthrough. While I gather up some wood, I want to talk to everyone about another mindful thing we should think about while we play today. All you can do is try. Those words changed my life. Have any of you ever had an experience where a few words changed your life for the better? Personally, I have, and I want to share that with you today. Earlier at work, I was thinking about a simple quote from a teacher that changed how I lived my life. It got me thinking about the power of gratitude in relation to those that deeply care for every one of us. I want everyone to think about one person in your life that has positively affected you. What did they do that made that impact? And how did it make you feel? Was it joy? Did it bring you a sense of pride? Or did you feel like you finally obtained belonging? If you're comfortable with sharing, please do so in the comments. I would love to hear about someone who changed your life, and we can celebrate those connections together. The quote that was shared with me couldn't have come at a better time. I was struggling in my math class, and my teacher pulled me aside. He asked me what I was having trouble with and worked through a problem with me. At the end of our little 2-minute interaction, he said 6 words that made me eternally grateful for his care. He said, "All you can do is try." And to me, it made me feel like he cared about my education. He cared about the success of me and others under his guidance. I understood right there that I needed to care more. I needed to try more, because he expressed to me that he believed I could do it. If I didn't believe I could do it, I would never have even tried. From then on, I was moving forward. I was always putting my full effort into everything I had to do. That led me to success at work, success in school, success in sports, success in relationships and connections, and most importantly, success in my mindset. This realization made me reflect upon how I could show gratitude for a few words that helped me believe I had more potential than I was giving myself credit for. And I should be grateful for it. So how did I show that gratitude? I think I expressed it through acting upon that advice, and I breathed life into his words. I know he was proud of me for doing that, and that's him showing his gratitude. It can be overwhelming sometimes to express gratitude for major positive changes in our lives. So what do we do when that happens? We just try. Even small gestures of gratitude can create seismic waves of positivity. A simple smile can make the world of difference to someone. And you can equally express your gratitude. If I were walking down the sidewalk and I passed you while you were coming the opposite way, and I complimented your jacket and you smiled and said thank you, well, I'd understand that you were grateful for my words and that I made a difference to you today. So I too can be grateful for having the opportunity to spread that kindness. That's one uncomplicated way that you can show gratitude. Smiles are fading day in and day out. So if you do your part in showing gratitude by spreading a smile, you're effectively giving kindness and gratitude life. I hope these words have inspired you to reflect upon an important person in your life and expressing a grateful thought or action towards them. Remember, if you want to share, I would love to learn about who made a difference to you. I might even pick my favorite response and highlight it in the next video. I think we totally have enough wood. We should head back to base and get started on our projects with gratitude in mind. In the intro there, you probably saw this setup right here behind me. And we have a couple things to go over here. As you can see, we have individual little 7x7 farm plots, right? And they're being auto harvested. And they also have storage that auto sends them into our storage system. We should probably go over exactly what I did here. And so I left this one over here blank so that I can show you exactly what this is. So this is a harvester pylon, and these things are really cool. They can go anywhere from a 3x3 harvest radius to a 9x9 harvest radius. And that's pretty decent. Instead of using the harvester pylon, we can also use modular routers. I want to do this differently from the last time I did this mod pack where I used modular routers for everything. The harvester pylon, it's pretty simple. It just requires 3 quartz slabs, 2 iron bars, 3 polished blackstone, and 1 hay bale. If we want to use the harvester pylon, we can. I've also gone ahead and I made 4 netherite hose and turned them into allthemodium hose because they're indestructible. And these harvester pylons, they take durability. So if you don't have an indestructible item, like you could technically use a wooden hoe and put a Stella on it. So when we look at things that require a certain tool and we know it's going to take durability, if there's an allthemodium variant for it, it's more effective to use that right off the bat than using Eternal Stellas because these have a little bit of work required to set up, right? So we'll get into this later on. It's a little more complicated than just getting your smithing template and making an allthemodium tool. So I prefer using allthemodium variants, but we are absolutely cranking resources into our system right now. And the way we did that is you'll notice this farmland, it doesn't look the same, right? It's not a normal kind of farmland. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go under the farm here and I'm going to show you what I did. As you can see here, we've got a bunch of lily pads of fertility. These are really, really powerful. They stack up. I don't know the exact conversion, like what one does, like how far it has an effect. But when you put all of these together, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they all stack together. And so right in that, 4-block square, there's a ton of things happening like right here. The most condensed area is in the center because that's where it stems. Everything around it is also affecting it because it reaches, this one here reaches all the way to here, and you have essentially absolutely padded the bottom of this thing with bone meal times 10. If we want to use these lily pads of fertility, we need fertile essence, and fertile essence requires the reliquary mob drops as well as any green dye, right? So that gets you one. You need 3 of these and 1 lily pad for 1 lily pad of fertility. So if we take our tape measure and we go ahead and we run this out, we have a 15 by 15 inner dimension, right? So since this space is a total of 225 blocks, we need to make a total of 221 lily pads of fertility. Now, why would it not be 225? Because we have these barrels with the pylons, and those pylons are waterlogged, right? And these are still lily pads, so they're affected by water. And if we were to remove the block that's holding that water up, it would just drop and it would break our lily pads, and then we'd have a mess on our hands, and it's kind of a pain to clean up. So we are going to just make 221, and that's going to require the following. So if we want to craft 225 lily pads of fertility, we're going to need 225 lily pads, 675 fertile essence, and that's going to require us to have 675 green dye, 675 slime pearls, 675 rib bones, and 675 catalyzing glands. Now you'll see these essences here. Disregard these. We'll go over these in a little bit. That's how I'm crafting our lily pads and our dye. You'll also see we have a weird little conversion here, and it doesn't say 675. These batch craft in groups of 6, the green dye does. So it's going to tell you how much it's going to craft total, but we have 3. So the difference is 672. So this red fertilizer, it crafts in groups of 4. So we need 57 wheat seeds, we need 114 golden nuggets, we need 171 red dye, and we need 171 bone meal. So now that we're back at our farm, I can show you behind us here, we set up a network receiver on this side, and we have importers on each barrel above each harvester pylon. These aren't just normal importers, these are elite importers. And to make these elite importers, you need 4 blocks of iron, 4 importers, and 1 advanced processor. So these elite importers, they have extra slots to filter, and they're faster. So I usually pick these to start because I don't like my system getting clogged up, and I don't like having to wait for certain resources that I need lots of. So the next thing we need to talk about are these network receivers and transmitters. You'll notice up on the wall behind me, they're connected to the controller. We have some network transmitters. What happens is we put this block anywhere on our system, right? It's now connected to our controller. This block will send a signal to a receiver block that we have to go bind with a network card. And when we do that, we'll have access to our storage system cross dimension. We'll be able to take this block, hook it up, import items in another dimension, and send them all the way back to our storage system that we have set up here that's auto filtering and going into our drawers and our chests. So let's set this up. So I've already done this, but I'm gonna go and show you how this works just right here. So you can see this transmitter has power. And if we right click it, you see we need a network card. So let's go ahead. You see this one's linked up. Let's right click this. This is gonna have coordinates on it. We're gonna go and we're gonna put that in the transmitter. You'll see it's 2 blocks apart. It's right here. And let's say we want to import items into our system. Let's go ahead and let's grab an importer. You have importers and you have exporters. Your exporter exports items out of your system, and your importer imports items into your system. Let's go ahead and let's slap this on the chest. And then if you right click this, you can see you can import items or fluids. You can set a filter, and then you can change exact mode on or off. This is for things like durability or, like quantity. So let's say we want to import quivers, right? and we have 190 arrows in this quiver here. If we put that as the filter and this exact mode is on, it will only transport quivers that have 190 arrows in it. So say we had one in our chest over here that had 189. It's not going to transfer because it's on exact mode. But if we turn exact mode off, it will transfer. But we don't have to worry about any of that for what we're doing right here. This is just a basic little setup to show you how this works. Let's go ahead and let's put our deep slate in. You'll see it's starting to transport into our system. Right there, that value is going up. So that's how this works. And that's how we're getting all of these reliquary resources from the mining dimension. Last episode, we went over the hostile neural networks with the slime. But this episode, I have basically changed that system. So instead of just one going, we have 3. And I'll get right into that and I'll show you what I'm doing. So that's why we needed our refined storage network receiver and transmitter. I have one underneath that waste stone there, and I have it run all along the bottom of this platform here. So it's coming up and it's feeding into an importer and an exporter. So the exporter is sending our prediction matrices in that are being auto crafted, and this barrel here is sending items out. I went ahead and I let these run so they're at full accuracy, but I got a skeleton data model and I got a creeper data model. And these prediction matrices are making catalyzing glands, rib bones, and slime pearls. And then we just have each of these powered up from the bottom with one flux point just in the middle. And then I have this filtered the same way, essentially, where this slime chamber is just sending just the predictions into here. And same for all 3. And then all of these are pulling the generalized overworld predictions out and putting them into this drawer here, which we have connected to an external storage. This just allows us to have access to our generalized overworld predictions from the overworld. We don't need to be in the mining dimension in order to grab those. But that's our simple little setup and change we did for the hostile neural networks. We basically just times 3 the setup we made, and then we have it transferring automatically from the mining dimension over home here, and we've got it going up into drawers up there. So we have everything we need to craft our lily pads. And then you can see here, we have them connected via cables straight into that receiver. So everything that's coming into this system here is being immediately transferred out and straight into our system. And then in here, I've got them set up on drawers, and each drawer has 4 copper upgrades. So we can store 2.1 million of each essence and then a void upgrade. So if this ever goes over, it starts voiding them. So it's important we use these void upgrades, because when this fills up, we don't want all these items coming in here, flying into our other system down here, or eventually our system in here, because that's going to cause lag. It's a bunch of extra stuff that we clearly don't need if we're already maxed out on an item. And on any resource generation system, I think it's reasonable, because you're not going to use everything that you get. So we have everything we need to get this set up. But first, we need to go over how this chunk alignment works, right? All the way around, we've got 1 block. This row of spruce logs right here, that would be that one all the way on the other end. And so we'd be able to duplicate this all the way across and do the same thing. Now we're on the other side, and you'll see this isn't going to work because this chunk border stops here. And so you'd have to load a whole entire other chunk just for this one row. So we're going to do it over here, and all of our farms that require chunk loading are going to be on this side of the base. So let's go ahead and clear this out real quick and get this set up. And then I'm going to go down 3 blocks and I'm going to clear out everything underneath it. And then I'll be right back with you. So now we have our equally divided 1 chunk, and we have our little 3 block high interior down here. We're going to fill this with water, and then we're going to fill it with our lily pads of fertility, Then we'll move up here and I'll show you the rest. So now that we're full of water, let's go ahead and let's start placing our lily pads everywhere down here. Okay, so we have all of our lily pads down. This alone is going to make our crops grow really, really fast. But we're going to up it. We're going to put that fertilizer up top. So let's go ahead and let's put our water down. And then we'll put our harvester pylons down. We'll till all the ground and we're going to put our fertilizer in. So we have every single plot done here. They're all tilled up. We've got our water in, so they're getting all saturated. Let's put our fertilizer down now. This is the most tedious part, just for the fact that there's no way to like do this all at once. You kind of just gotta walk through and click every single one. Now we have our fertilizer down, we can move on to the harvester pylons, but I just want to mention, you don't have to make a farm this big. You can also scale this down. You can divide our resource list that we put earlier into 4. You can make this into a 9x9. You can make this into this one 7x7, a 5x5, a 3x3. You can scale it to whatever you need it for, but I just prefer making bulk farms like this so that they're ready in case I do need a bigger farm later on. That's my way of future proofing and setting up my infrastructure so that I don't have to worry about this later on when I'm ready to expand. So next up, we just got to put our harvester pylons in these blocks of water. And then we need to open these up, change it to 7x7, put our hoe in, and make sure that each of these is turned on. Now you'll notice it says place inventory above the pylon. We'll get into this in just a minute once we craft our seeds. So we need to make the little setup behind me. And this is our infusion altar. This is what we're going to use in order to make every single seed from here on out. So getting into this, we need 2 gold ingots for our altar, 1 red wool, and 5 stone. And then we need to make 8 infusion pedestals, so you're going to need 16 gold ingots, 16 stone, and 8 wool. So we've got our 8 pedestals and our 1 infusion altar. Now we need a way to power this. This requires a redstone signal, so I always like to just use a block of redstone to save me an extra click. Now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead, I'll put our block of redstone right here, and I put the infusion altar on top. And you see here, you've got a little outline, and then you go ahead and you just place your little pedestals all the way around. Now this is powered already because we have our redstone block underneath. Now that we're ready to do some infusing, we gotta go make our seeds. So let's head back to our ME system. So you'll see here, we have all these different types of seeds, right? We have dirt seeds, wood seeds, stone seeds, air seeds, earth seeds, water seeds, fire seeds. And then I have some applied energistics and extreme reactor stuff set up here. But you'll see we've got this basic seed set. And then we have a prosperity seed base. How do we make the prosperity seed base? You just need 4 prosperity shards and 1 wheat seed to make 1 prosperity seed base. Now the prosperity shards, this is prosperity ore. You can find this stuff all over the place. You can find it in the overworld, the nether, or the end. For some reason, it doesn't show us exactly where it spawns. Normally it does, but for some reason, my JEI isn't doing that. But you can find this stuff everywhere. So don't be afraid to go mining. Don't be afraid to set up a filter in your RF tools builder, Corey, like we did. That's how I got all of this. So let's make 1 seed. I'm just going to show you how to make 1 seed, and then you'll get the picture from there. So let's start with dirt seeds. You're going to need inferium essence and dirt. Now the inferium essence, this is also another thing you're going to find everywhere. You're even going to get it from mob drops. So you'll have a ton of this. I recommend making a ton of these seeds right off the bat It's super simple. You just do 1 wheat seed and then 8 inferium essence, and you get 1 inferium seed. Then that gets you kind of a setup like we've got going on here, where I have it compressing into blocks, and you can craft this up into the new tiers as you go all the way up. But if you want to do it the way I'm doing it with the master infusion crystal, you're going to have to go through the whole process of making each and every one of these crystals like I have. It's a pain in the butt. It's kind of just menial. It's not really something that we should go over in the video. The reason why I don't want to go over it in the video is because you have to wait for all this to grow, and it takes a while to get there. So I rather just show you how we're gonna set up a seed, and you'll see as we go, you're gonna need different tiers of essence. Our main focus is getting this inferium essence farm up and running, but we don't need the infusion altar to make those inferium seeds. So I'm not gonna show you how to make it using the inferium seeds. So you'll see here, you have your altar, you have 4 dirt and 4 inferium essence. So we're gonna put our seed right in the middle, and then in that recipe, you probably saw it was alternated like this, right? But we don't need it to be like that in order to craft like this. You can, but the main thing is you can put those resources in any order. You could put 4 dirt here, 4 essence there. You could do 2 dirt, 2 essence, 2 dirt, 2 essence. It doesn't really matter. As long as all the materials are in here, you're going to get your expected outcome, which is these dirt seeds. So let's go ahead and let's just pop these right here in the middle. You'll see how fast this grows right off the bat. It's pretty insane. We've already got 8 dirt essence, and that's 24 dirt, just like that. Now, these are set up. We just got to get our barrels set up on them. So let's go do that real quick. So I'm just going to craft up 4 iron barrels, and then let's get ourselves some stack upgrades here. So we've got our barrels. Let's go ahead. Let's pop them on top of our harvester pylons. And you'll notice this one's already grabbing all that essence. So I went ahead and I put a stack upgrade in each of these. And you can see there, it'll store 1024 essence per slot. This is the basic setup I like doing. But if you want to do what I did over here, you're just going to need to set up one of your network receivers, some cables, and some importers. And then we went through how to filter last episode. So you just got to put your essence, one of each, in whatever drawer, hook your system up, and it's going to auto put everything in your drawers for you. So if you're new to this mystical agriculture setup, this is a viable option, and it gives you a way to kind of filter out, you know, each item. So say this one, you just want some nature resources. You can put your nature seeds here. This one, you can put your ingots. This one, you can put your mob drops, so on and so forth. I think this is a good way to start, and then eventually you'll have all the resources you need to set up a system like that behind us. Now, the next thing on our list are these agglomeratios. Now let's just go with the water agglomeratio, for example. So to make this, you need a water bucket, 1 dirt, 1 gravel, and 1 clay ball, but you need a total of 4 of these in order to make your seed. And what does that seed get us? It gets us water essence. And you can use that water essence to make mud, to make concrete, different types of items that you would find in water or require water or produce water. Each one of these has its own basic little recipe. So you're going to need 4 times every single recipe. So that's pretty simple. You get all your different seeds. You get all these different essences over here, and then you can kind of create any kind of block you want. So say I want granite, for example. How do I make granite? I need nether quartz essence and stone essence, but we don't have nether quartz essence yet. So let's make that. We're going to need 4 tertium essence, 4 nether quartz, and 1 prosperity seed base. So let's take our seed, our nether quartz, and I'll show you how you can just pop these in wherever you want. And then this is going to make our nether quartz seed, and we're going to need a ton of nether quartz because we need a ton of silicone, and eventually we can make a silicone seed. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this over here. This is going to start crafting that essence. So let's grab that nether quartz essence, and let's go ahead and let's pop it in our drawer. And then I like to just double check because it guaranteed had already pulled some out of the system. So we'd have like an odd one in there. So we've got our nether quartz essence. Let's go ahead and let's make that granite. And it's easy as that. You got your stone essence, which once again, it's just stone, inferium essence, and you get the seed, and then you start getting the essence. And before you know it, you're able to craft whatever you want, whenever you want. And that's the power of mystical agriculture. Like I said last episode, not everyone has all day to do resource farming or gathering or things like that. And they need to be able to get these resources in order to progress in the pack. And so I want to showcase mystical agriculture and how important it is, because without it, I know I wouldn't be able to continually play this, because I don't have all the time in the world to go find a million nether quartz or some of the things that we need in this pack. Like, let's go to the all the mod stars so you can see how important it is to have resource generation. Like, if you don't have resource generation, something like this isn't really realistic at all. And you need this to make one master of the universe, and one master of the universe goes into the Aldemod Star. But remember, we need to automate the Aldemod Star. So we're going to need tons of generation for each one of these resources in order to even think about automating something like the dimensional seed, which goes straight into the Aldemod Star, which then this right here is why I need to automate the Aldemod Star. 387,420,489 Aldemodium Star blocks. Multiply that number by 9, and that's exactly how many Aldemod stars we're going to need. We're not going to get there by walking around farming resources. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, remember, we have a Discord. You can ask away whenever you want. We've gone over mystical agriculture and the basic setup that we're going to have to follow in order to progress from here utilizing that mystical agriculture farm. However, we've done a lot of crafting, we've done a lot of sorting. We haven't really done very much exploration or boss fighting or anything of that nature. So the rest of this episode is going to be dedicated towards some boss fighting and some exploration. And I think we might as well start with the Wither, because we're pretty powerful and we should be able to smack it in about 3 to 5 hits is my estimate. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to grab our Wither skeleton skulls and our soul sand, and then we're gonna go down nearly bedrock, and I think we should take this guy out down there. Now that we're down low enough, I think we should put this guy just right in the middle, and we're just gonna start smacking him. You already know what we're supposed to do. We gotta go ahead and we gotta put our soul sand down and put our wither skulls right on top. I want to take him out with our sword here because it's got looting on it. Okay, that's pretty good. We got our nether star, we got these miniature yellow hearts, and we got a withering soul. And this is going to be really important later on for mystical agriculture. We need this if we want to automate crafting these nether stars. So let's go ahead and let's take a couple more of these out. Already got another one. That's pretty good chances. We've got enough stuff here. We can take him out one more time. So our final tally, we got 5 nether stars, 5 yellow heart canisters, and 2 withering souls. And then we got some of these voodoo puppets. I've never used these. I have no idea what they do. And I also have no idea what the familiar receptacle does. But we did get our nether stars, and we did get a couple of scrolls and stuff here. I think we should go back to the base. We should see what we can do with these nether stars. So as you can see here, we've got the wither done, we've got the warden done. All we have left is the dragon. So maybe we should go find the dragon, but that might be a next episode endeavor. And then we'll get into the All the Mods Star, and that'll start unlocking this entire quest tree for us, and we can get started on automating all of our processes. We definitely don't want to have to do that every time we need to kill the wither, so we should probably set up a little area for us to do that, where it's much easier to keep them contained, and we can just craft them standing there. All right, I've got a ton of stuff ready to go. We ended up making all of our applied energistics mystical agriculture seeds here, and we're just going to let these cook up, autocraft into our resources that we're going to need later on. And in the meantime, we're going to go find the end portal. All right, so we do have a stronghold. It's 3,500 blocks away, and it looks like we're going to have to fly there. So let's get in the gyrodyne and let's put our upgrades back in, and then let's take off. We have got a journey. I'd like to say once we get there, I am just going to drop the waystone and we'll do a little outro. I do need to wrap this video up. We have gone over a ton of stuff with mystical agriculture, but I hope it's been at least somewhat helpful. It's a really, really powerful mod. I've never been let down by it. The farm we set up, it's not really TPS friendly and it can cause a lot of lag. I have a plan for that later on. I know they did nerf the phytogenic insulators, but I want to use garden cloches from immersive engineering because thematically I think it would just look cool, like old warehouses and stuff of that nature. But I will get back to you guys as soon as we pull up on the Stronghold coordinates. I am really hoping that this doesn't end up being in the middle of the ocean because that would be super unfortunate for us. A sandy waystone? So far, it looks like we don't really have to worry about it being in the ocean though. Alright, well, I have an idea. Well, would you look at that? We're right in the main room. This is the main entrance, but prior experience, I know we just need to find our way up or into another one of the wings here. You guys got loot? Y'all got loot for me? Helium flamingo. Wait, I bet that's kind of cool with our, oh, diamonds. Okay, this has to be. We gotta be real close now. Shears of winter. Oh. Oh. Nice. Ooh. I'll take that. Go ahead and dump all this junk out of our inventory. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, look at that. You saw that. I just picked a door. Okay. Break that. Then we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna slap our end waystone down. All right, we did it. So as you can see here, we did end up fighting our portal. That's gonna wrap this episode up because it's been a little long. I hope everyone enjoyed. We did go over a lot of stuff with mystical agriculture today, but I kind of wanted to do something a little different and go at least find the portal, because this thing was a pain to find, but this unlocks the rest of the game for us, which is crazy to say because in vanilla, this is literally the end. But here, this is just the beginning. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.